extraordinaire, the GMologist.
Hello everyone and welcome to the GMologist Presents. Today I will try to answer the question, can you play too much D&D? I don't know right now, and I'll have to go through my discussion and pros and cons and all that, but we will find out at the end if I do indeed play too much D&D. So how am I doing? I'm doing fair to Midland. Work is work, a job's a job, and it is sometimes taxing. It's a physically demanding job, but hey, I'm hanging in there. I'm looking at other prospects, and we're okay, Streamroller and I. So thank you for all your well wishes and thoughts. My birthday's coming up. I'm going to be 56. I don't mind saying that. It's been a long life so far, and I hope it continues another 50 years. Maybe we'll have some good anagathics, a traveler term, by that time. So let's see. What is the evidence? Do I play too much D&D? Well, I think I have 4 D&D campaigns, maybe 4 and a little bit of more, depending on who you ask or what we've started. So if I go through my day, every other Monday, we have been playing Streamroller, the Arcane Alienist, and I. We've been going through, we just started Gods of the Forbidden North, which we run using OSE, which is basically BX, but we use the Advanced Fantasy tome. So Streamroller plays a druid, and the Arcane Alienist plays a fighter. And it's been pretty cool. They've so far stayed in the first city they get to, Valkengard, and I really like the intro adventure. Like, you roll the character as you play, which is pretty fun. You decide a lot of things, and you roll up things, and then you're there in Valkengard. And the idea in the first sort of adventure is to get to the inn. You're in possession of this artifact called the Eye of Jakara, and you're being chased, or you're chasing, or trying to avoid, it's hard to say, this mage called Zarkan the Black. At the end of the adventure, you confront Zarkan the Black, and the gathering allies, because there's only 2 players, right? It's like a buddy kind of cop tale. They've gathered some allies. They've found a cleric that they can ally with. They have found, they've talked to the captain of the watch and made allies with the watch. They might do some jobs for them, depends. And they are, kicking butt and taking names, as it were. They defeated Zarkan with a really good use of the Entangle spell to control the battlefield, sent people off to find their allies, like the page boy, the runner, the stable boy, while they fought off a band of thugs and Zarkand and his minions. They took out Zarkand, and he was unable to escape. He does have like this dimension door getaway power, but he had already used it for the week. I can't, it's hard. I mean, I guess a GM could have him get away, but he had used it the night before when he was in disguise and he tried to taunt the characters, and, well, his bad. He had to escape because he got trapped in an alley, so he had to use that power, and he can only use it once per week. Well, it is what it is. So they were able to defeat him. The watch arrived and helped them clean up the thugs. Some of the thugs ran away. They learned with this group called the Graven Wolves, which is a kind of short form for Grimhaven Wolves. And they also learned that it was kind of like a trap. They had met this couple with their son who is from the falling empire. I think it's called Hadia. I cannot remember. And they had killed the man, the husband, and the wife and child were missing. So they did some investigation. They tracked things down. They tracked down where these thugs were from, who their leader was. They went to the guy. This is in the second session, actually. They went to the guy's place. This guy's like consignment shop, sort of place where people in the rough part of town, Grimhaven, could come and buy secondhand wares for cheap. They confronted the quote-unquote bouncer there, and I thought the best was, like, he kind of mouthed off and the arcane alienist character Tanarok said, "Yeah, I don't feel like dealing with this morning." So he punched him in the mouth. He tried to run. Some fighting ensued. They took him out, more or less, and then with their hench person cleric, got him up and talking. And while Tanarok sort of interrogated him, the druid Boudica, she was kind of searching around and was able to find a secret passage down below. Since the adventure says like within 3 days they'll move the woman, the son has already been sent off somewhere, but they go down, they bluff their way into like a drug den and rescue not only the woman but some of the other people that are there against their will, and call the watch. And I guess the only conflict there was the guardsman down there after basically Tanarok just kind of ran him through. I just didn't like that the people down here were kept against their will, drugged up and used for nefarious purposes. So that was the adventure. They got a lead now to where, after interrogating some of the people there and talking to them, really, they kind of got a lead onto where the sun might be, and it should be interesting because they got to approach it differently this time around. The son has been taken to this orphanage, and the cleric who's from Valkengard is kind of confused because why would this matron who runs the orphanage be dealing in human trafficking? It's hard for her to comprehend since this woman is in good standing in the community, but something probably dark is going on. So with that information, they're going to go to the next thing. So that wasn't so bad. That's a good adventure, a good campaign. Gods of the Forbidden North. Eventually they will probably go out into the wilderness and see what is up. So the next game I guess I can talk about, Hyperborea, is sort of a D&D 1E with house rules and adjacent, or AD&D 2E really. So I've been running a Hyperborea campaign for about 2 years, and it started at North Texas RPG Con last year in 2025 and has continued. 2024, was it? Is that right? 2024 it started. And yeah, it's amazing. I need to have a yearly perspective. So I think it's coming to an end, at least of the first arc. I know I've talked to the players and they'd like to continue Hyperborea. They're currently on this island where the main fort there is run by Amazons called Fort Thunder, and they started doing jobs for the Amazons. They've explored a lot of the island and are now going through the caverns of Thracia, and they're almost at the end game in the caverns of Thracia. They are assaulting something called the Palace of the Minotaur King right now, and I don't want to go into a lot of details. I went into details about the other, but suffices to say it's been a pretty good operation so far. There was almost a friendly fire incident where one of the spellcasters cast a lightning bolt and it bounced and hit another of the party, but then it bounced and did what he wanted it to bounce back and did what he wanted it to do, which is kind of interesting, and I guess the way lightning bolts kind of work. So, and then another group is assaulting the main doors while one group is going in through the roof, and they're in. So we'll see how that goes. They've been exploring the caverns of Thracia. There have been some shenanigans where one of the members of the party was separated from the rest, but they're all back together and taking on this task of defeating the Minotaur King. And that'll probably be the end, in a way, to the caverns of Thracia part. But like I said, they want to do some more. So I might have the Amazons give them a job to take this like a flying engine that they found some time ago that they dredged up out of one of the wrecks around the island back to the Amazon city. But of course they'll probably be diverted, I'm sure, by adventure or GM fiat. So that's Hyperborea, and it's been going, like I said, for almost 2 years. That's my second D&D game. I guess the third one also is on a Wednesday. It's opposite the Hyperborea game, and me get a drink here as my throat is getting scratchy. As a side, I guess I find the best time to record is here before I get into work. I work early in the morning, so I can get out early during the day and help my wife with her elderly parents. So, or give her some relief, or at least, support, as it were. Anyway, the next game, we just kind of started this. We've been the second adventure, if we want to call it that. And I've been running a game I call Forgotten Realms, 1357 Dale Reckoning. And this is before, this kind of like basically the gray box, starting with the gray box Forgotten Realms. I don't know if I'm going to run the Avatar event or not. We will see. Already the party has influenced their little corner of the world. I did start him in the Dalelands. That to me is very traditional Forgotten Realms. They've met some of the big players, the NPCs who have done stuff that they aspire to do likewise. So it's been pretty cool. At least if you're a Forgotten Realms fan. A couple of the players have not played in the Forgotten Realms. It's a pretty cool party. And there's a paladin, which makes things very interesting. And Streamrolla is playing the paladin to the T, the lawful good. A little bit proselytizy, but oh well. Arcane Alienist plays a ranger cleric. M.W. Lewis plays a mage, a magic user, and my buddy J-Ro is playing gnome, illusionist thief. So it's like a human, a half elf, a gnome, and another human. So 2 humans and those other two. So it's been pretty neat. I ran them through the Doom of Daggerdale, which is a 2E adventure, but I upped it in the timeline, changed some details, but it went really well. And then because of that, it set off some events that kind of changed the fate of Dagger Falls, at least so far. And I ran a combat sort of off screen as the player characters told the rebel leader, a man named Randall Morn, that there was a Zentarum reinforcement group coming, and where they were staying and where they would be coming from. So Randall Morn, taking that information, laid an ambush for them, and it almost went south for Randall Morn and company. He lost a good deal of his men, or at least not necessarily killed, but were casualties in that conflict, though in the end defeated the Zentarum, put them to the sword, and actually killed the mage lord that was with them, a fifth level mage. So then because the Doom of Daggerdale, there's this like plague that infests Dagger Falls, and the player characters have to solve the mystery and defeat the thing that the person thing that's causing it. And the player characters did so. But that left Dagger Falls in a weakened state. At least 60% of the garrison is recovering from the sickness, and a good deal of the populace as well. Maybe like 25% of the populace is recovering. Yeah, so the garrison was hit pretty hard in percentage-wise, which is interesting, according to the module. Anyway, there was a back entrance that the player characters discovered into the place, and they told Randall Morn about it. He led men into the garrison, fought and defeated the constable, while the rest of his men kind of took the garrison by surprise and forced them to capitulate. And then the rest of his men, he kind of committed all his forces to this, all about 200, less the ones that were casualties in the first event. So they defeated or took out the mercenary groups of humanoids that were working there with the Zentarum, four platoons of goblins, 2 platoons each of hobgoblins and orcs. Only one orc group escaped with only about 3/8 of their number intact. So out of 25, so about 9 or 10 left out of a platoon of 25 or so. So yeah, I ran all that. I used an echo resounding for that, which is a pretty fun by Kevin Crawford. I use that to run my battles. So every sort of group is like a little battle token, and then I have the either the player characters or important NPCs that can do stuff to influence what's going on as well. So that was pretty cool. So when the players finally will get back to Dagger Falls after training, and I might have to talk about it. I ran a solo mission for Streamroller's Paladin, Ciara Goldhammer, to get her horse, which turned out to be a brooch where she can summon a super heavy warhorse that she is named Faith. And so when she says, "I have faith," the horse appears, and that was a pretty fun adventure. I recorded it, and it'll be on the YouTube at some point. It's the adventure to whom I don't know. I can't. It's a play on words. To whom it may concern, with the word tomb in it. Tomb it may concern. That's what it's called. Tomb it may concern. It's from Dungeon 22, and I do cite the author and artist in the YouTube extensively. I probably might put that in the show notes too. So she got her horse. The group regrouped. They returned to Dagger Falls to see what's going on, and now they've gotten a mission to travel the Black Road and head to the Anarok Desert and see what the Zhentarim are doing in the desert. They have caravans that go into the desert and back for some reason. As a side, it's a heavy role-played game, and Streamroller has taken it upon herself to attempt to redeem the Constable Trem Noafor. So they've convinced Randall to let him go with, and under at least Ciara Goldhammer's custody, as it were. So we'll see how that goes. Though with Ciara's influence, he has moved more towards lawful neutral than lawful evil, and he does see that the Zhentarim are no friends of his, and the price of failure is usually death if you fail the Zhentarim. So he feels betrayed, though fortunately not by the player characters, but by the Zhentarim, and specifically a priestess of Bane named Aragon from Zhentarim, who the characters have met. So yeah, that's a pretty cool. I guess I do like D&D, and in the next, I'll probably take a little break here. In the next segment, I will talk about the other D&D games that I'm running. So see, that's 3 already out of all the games I run, and I don't know what the answer to the question is yet. I'll be right back. Well, I didn't get to it later that day. It's about, I would say, a week later that I'm getting to the second part of Can You Play Too Much D&D? I guess the other campaign that I wanted to mention, we'll mention some others. Yeah. The other major campaign that I'm playing is an AD&D game, and I'm playing against the Slave Lords. And I'm using AD&D. Yeah, we've thrown in house rules here and there. The players are already engaged in domain play, mainly, oddly, and it did come from, I guess, the actual game, right? They cleared the first module, D0, I think it's called. I don't remember what it's called, honestly, but it's not part of the original series. And they cleared it. They have a keep. They created a bed and breakfast for it. They have a mine. They're generating income from it, and that is mainly used to pay training. Because training in AD&D First Edition, it's quite expensive, and is used as a money sink for players who might accumulate too much gold. Though I don't know. I'm debating how well it works. I guess it works well in this game because one of the players took it upon themselves to make sure that they had an income stream so they could pay for training. But in other games, sometimes that is not readily available or doesn't happen, although maybe it can. And although, who knows? Who knows what I'll do with it? I guess if the players can do it, yeah, sure. If not, well, then there are other ways to take their money, right? I think, especially if you engage in domain play. So against the Slave Lords, we played Day Zero, which is Danger at Dark Shelf, I think it's called. if I remember. And then we played through A1, Slave Pits of the Undercity, where the players get to the nefarious city of Highport. And I thought that was a great adventure series. We played an adventure called Lowdown in Highport, just to kind of bridge between Slave Pits of the Undercity and Danger at Dark Shelf or something like that. And I've tried to create some domain play. Players have done other side adventures, and it has led them to engage with the king of where they're from, Relmord in Greyhawk, and become landed sort of nobility. So yeah, they pay taxes and everything to the king and the whatever baron or whoever is the in between them and the king. So which is pretty cool. So why not stake their claim and have their hold, and other things could happen outside of the campaign, and I think it's great to make it a full world. The focus is the Slaver series, and we're playing through it, but other things have happened, including a jaunt into Bitopia. So really enjoyed that one. We are now in Secret of the Slaver Stockade. The latest session, since this latest session was, they kind of more or less have conquered the first level and are now going to be delving after resting and spiking the door so no one can escape from the lower level. They're going to rest and recuperate and then tackle the lower level. And I think it's a great game, good set of players, which is something you always want, right? And they're hopefully sticking through it. What's very interesting is these were tournament modules, and then at the end of A3, it's notorious for totally railroading the player characters so they get into A4, which is kind of a scenario where you start with nothing, try to find your stuff, and get out of there and get revenge, I think. So I don't know. We'll see if that happens. I'm going to let the final combat in A3 play out, and we'll see how it goes. The players do have a lot of stuff. They give you a lot of stuff. I mean, they've even found, in Secret of the Slaver Stockade, there's even a resurrection scroll. So yeah, they give you a lot of stuff. They expect, maybe long-term play was eventually expected after the tournament, or maybe, and the deadliness was definitely there, especially with the resurrection spell. So we'll see how they clear out the rest of the level 1 and then get down to the dungeon level. But they've taken care of the main opposition. Now it's just kind of clean up. Maybe there'll be a counterattack. I'm not sure. But it's been really good. We did, travel from Highport to the Slaver Stockade. They're finding clues about the operation. They really want to stop it. And now they have a way to basically get the people that they liberate out of the Pomarage, which is where all this takes place in Greyhawk. So yeah, really fleshed it out, I hope, satisfactorily for the players into a full campaign, as opposed to just going through the modules. So it's good. Another campaign that I've played, I guess it's a campaign, I started an Eberron campaign for 5e called Tales from the Broken Anvil, and I guess I wanted it to be sort of a drop in, drop out type of a thing, but I did run a few adventures early on with the larger group, and now it's only down to 2, and we've missed a lot for various reasons, so it's kind of hard to jump back in and get it started again. But I really do like Eberron. I've really had some great gameplays all the way back to the early aughts in 3.5 with Eberron, and I really like the sort of fantasy noir setting that it has, and the campaign. So it started in the big city. It's called Sharn, and we ran some adventures there, and then then they found Schema, which is like a big MacGuffin that has these great plans for various items, and that was going to take them. My original plan was then to take them to sort of the the unexplored continent in the world. But like I said, a lot of the players dropped out. I think 4 of the players really kind of dropped out. So the other 2, I just said, well, maybe we could do like a buddy cop thing. So I started running this adventure series that kind of takes them from Sharn into eventually the Mournlands, which is like where this big catastrophe happened in the last war. Which was about 10 or 11 years prior to the start of the adventure. So they're, we running through this adventure, and it just got stalled. So I really am hoping to get back to it. Like I said, I like Eberron a lot. And it'd be great at least to finish this adventure and then see where it goes, and maybe jump back into what I originally wanted, which was to get to the players to this unexplored continent. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I have done various like one-shots here and there of D&D, mainly 5e one-shots, although I did delve one time into an OSE West Marches style or kind of hex crawl style type game. I think it's called Secrets of Witch Mountain, or there's a Witch Mountain trilogy that is being created by Paul Wolf of Mystic Bull Games. I really liked it. I like I like his sort of styling and format in his books. We just ran a little, we didn't have everyone for the AD&D game, and just to try it out, we ran 3 of the players. I ran them through a little bit of this hex crawl. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. We haven't gone back to it, but it is what it is. So I don't just play D&D though, but the only other game that has been a regular campaign that is not D&D has been Twilight 2000, and we're coming to the end of a story arc in that where I ran Red Star Lone Star. I'd run this campaign for a long time, running sort of the Polish adventures, starting with You're on Your Own, and then getting to the Free City of Krakow, Pirates of the Vistula, the Black Madonna, and then the Ruins of Warsaw. So it was a pretty fun time, and it took about 5 years to run through those. And I put a stopping point on there, though maybe now we're talking about getting back to it after we finish Red Star Lone Star, which is wrapping up. Like I said, I might run an adventure called the Red Bear, which would take place about a year later, maybe. And things have happened in the campaign in Krakow, and it seems the players have really diverged from sort of the canon story arc, and now there is an alliance, and maybe the burgeoning of a triple alliance in southern and eastern Poland now, with the Free City of Krakow, the Principality of Cilicia, and the city-state of Lublin. So we'll see how that goes. And then with communication with the remains of Warsaw as well. So that is a part of an alliance into the group that kind of sails along the Vistula and then out to Cilicia. So yeah, it's a very exciting game. I enjoy it. I guess my partner, who goes by the handle Steamroller, she kind of drives it. She really enjoys Twilight 2000, so that's why we play it. So yeah, I don't know. I guess do I play too much D&D? Like I said, they're all D&D campaigns right now. Aside from the one shots, I was running Masks of Nyarlathotep using Cohor's Cthulhu, and that seems to have stalled as well. We might get back to it, but it just has run afoul of sort of things happen on the day that we normally play, and we just end up not playing anything. So yeah. And the other game that I was running that also has stalled because of my work schedule, where I don't get a lot of weekends off now, and we were running the One Ring, and the players are in Moria have just opened a vault, and it should get very, very interesting. And again, I would like to get back to this, but it just suffers from the scheduling curse. So it's been D&D. It seems that's the most consistent. It's the one that where players get there consistently. Maybe it's because there's enough players in the group to play, so that if one or two are missing, then the game still goes on. But yeah, the others suffer from having 2 or 3 players, and if one can't go, then I don't know if it's worth trying to run for 1 or 2 people. Some games are better than others in running for a couple people or even one person, and these games, or at least I haven't acquired or saved the bandwidth to try to figure that out yet. Though I'll say this, and I may just start having backup game, whether it's a solo or a duo, something like Savage Worlds or even Octoon Cthulhu could do well with as a solo or 2-player. They're very easily modified, so I could think of something, I'm sure, to make it to make it so that 2 people work in a particular adventure or in a particular set of even random encounters. So yeah, that's my gaming schedule. Am I playing too much D&D? I don't know. Let me know. Talk to you guys soon. If you want to send feedback, you can do so by sending me a message at geomologist@gmail.com, dropping a line on the SpeakPipe. I have an active SpeakPipe account, or dropping me a DM in Discord with a voice message. That would be great. So I appreciate everyone for listening. Thank you for Streamrolla for the cover art, and the incomparable TJ for the intro and outro music. Thank you for listening. Good night and good rolling.